What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. Today we're going over MESA Prime and some buffs that came to her with the VEILBREAKER update. This video will expect you to know how MESA's abilities already work, but I am going to briefly go over how her first ability works, because that's one of the abilities that actually is kind of worth using now, especially if you're going to be going for a shield getting stuff like we will in the first build. The second build is definitely based around like memeing on high-level enemies, and we'll go into that one as well. Before we get into though, make sure you are subbed to this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads, and if you'd like these kinds of videos, you're in the right place. Also, check out the live stream channel. We don't live stream every single day there, like I'm taking today off, but yeah, we will definitely be back tomorrow on the live stream channel. Alright, so the idea of MESA today is that we actually got a big buff to one of her augment mods, Ballistic Bullseye. I'm going to be showing you how you can utilize this for some big synergy, but the big thing that changed on this augment is that now it will give you, it's for her first ability. After activating it, you will get 50% additive final crit chance amount based on the amount charged. And that 50% crit chance does scale with power strength. So if you jam a big power strength on MESA, you can get a guaranteed like orange-red crit bullet on any weapon. That's, yes, even a weapon with 1% crit chance will be guaranteed crit when using that newly buffed mod on MESA. This used to be something like status chance or something back in the day. I believe it also will get an increase to damage as well. So the way MESA's first ability works, the ability that most people subsume off, basically MESA throws her hand in the air, and then you can start building up a meter. Once that meter is fully maxed out, you can actually press it again to use all that stored up damage in a shot that's released. This was recently buffed to be recastable in her 4. So you can be, now I'm not going to summon in 20 Exogox officers, let's do like 5 of them. You can be a shield gating tank with the build I'm going to be showing you, the first, like, the more normal build. Alright, we're going to unpause these guys and we're going to jump in, okay? Let's hope that we don't die. Alright, so as you see, if they shoot me, I will immediately get full shields. Because you can do that with the Ballistic Bullseye. Okay, maybe 5 wasn't enough, but as you see, I went to 67 shields. You can cast this ability. Now, I'm in my 4. I keep casting it. My shield's going up and up and up. That's the idea of what that buff was to her. And it lets her shield gate very easily as long as you have a constant supply of energy and health. That's where Dispensary from Protea comes into play. Let's get, like, some Bombards or something, I guess. We'll get, like, yeah, get, like, 20 Bombards. Sure. The build's probably not, this is probably not a good idea, but let's try it anyway. I put on Dispensary. I activate her too. I can keep shield getting over and over again as long as I'm paying attention and I have energy. I also got Rolling Guard, which you can use in MESA's Waltz. Yes, I just jumped into 20 Bombards that were level 190 and survived. And face tanked them the entire time. That's the idea of build number 1. It's a Dispensary MESA build for everyday play. So the reason that we were able to do what we just did right there is it's actually a combination of a lot of things. And by the way, energy conversion, I was just testing. You can put normal intensify there if you want to. So we've got the exact number of shields we want to restore. If you don't know how shield getting works, I'm going to give you the quick rundown of it. When your shield is broken in this game, you get a brief period of invincibility. Depending on how high your shield was when you broke your shield will dictate how long the invincibility will last. So for example, my ability, when I'm casting MESA's first ability, it's going to give me, let's see how much shield. It's going to give me like 60-something shield. My maximum shield while equipping the Decaying Dragon Key is like 56. So I'm regenerating enough shield with my shield regen mods from Brief Respite and the Augur set bonus to get enough to fully restore my shield. That's why every time I cast my ability on MESA, when my shield's broken, if I can cast my ability to get my shield back in time, I will be nearly permanently invincible, as long as I have energy to keep casting it. That's why we're using Equilibrium and Dispensary. Equilibrium will make it where health orbs basically count as energy orbs, and vice versa. So you can get tons of energy, tons of health, and this, of course, this will work for your teammates too, if they're just walking over to Dispensary and picking it up. Additionally, you've got a Panzer Volpaphyla with the synth mod set to make it where we can pick up health orbs while we still have full health. That's going to be really, really crucial to this build to make it work. It will work with other companions too. You don't need to use the Panzer Volpaphyla, but it is one that you could try out. Now, Ballistic Bullseye is kind of just here for fun. The second build will be more focused on it. You could definitely potentially replace this, as we're only using her one to shield gate really, and an extra red or an extra orange crit bullet every here and there is nice. But yeah, you could definitely put something else on there instead. Everything else is basically just survivability. end game types of survivability though. Like rolling guard is pretty high level stuff. Shield getting is, if you don't know how to do it, you can consider it high level stuff. And we've got energy conversion to give us increased energy. We pick up an orb. Technically is nice with dispensary, but like I said earlier, you could just put on intensify there. It will be more consistent, and it will just give you some more damage overall. More power strength means more additive crit chance. Now let's show how Mesa's new ultimate weapon goes. And like I said, you can get a guaranteed crit on nearly every weapon as long as you use Ballistic Bullseye, this recently buffed augment. So we're going big on the power strength for this one, and we're actually using Zata's Whisper. I'm going to explain why we're using Zata's Whisper in a second here, but the idea of this build is this is not as good for shield getting, honestly. This will probably not be as good for endurance unless you like maybe put like another auger mod on. I haven't actually tested it. It probably will shield gate, but you're gonna run out of energy a lot faster. So the idea of this is we're gonna be using the Cedo shotgun, which is going to have, it's a crazy weapon basically. It's got built-in condition overload, just at base, and we're also gonna be using Galvanized Savvy. So on a kill, basically condition overload for guns, and everything else is just going into getting big numbers and actually big crits because we're forcing this thing to crit. And the entire idea of this build is based around the secondary fire of the Cedo shotgun. As you can see, 2% crit chance, but it has an okay enough crit multiplier at 3.7. And, you know, decent enough damage here, too. No damage fall off or anything like that. This is actually one of the craziest guns in the game for Mesa's recently buffed augment. We're not even talking about the Furax Wraith right now, which was also a buff to Mesa, giving her increased fire rate for secondary weapons. This does work on her Peacemaker pistols, okay? Yeah, we technically subsumed off her 4, because this will be a weapon-focused Mesa build, but yeah. Let's just show how it works. Now, I'm not sure if it will kill all 20 of these Exo Gokstads, but it can, as long as you get lucky. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, it's a not super consistent setup here, but the way you can make this work is I'm going to do it as slowly as possible, okay? I'm going to activate my buffs, Zata's Whisper and Mesa's 2. Technically Mesa's 3, but we're not really using that for this. I'm going to activate the 1. Now, notice how that ballistic battery percentage is up there. You want to get shots in with guns. So, for example, I have a really, really strong Cedo shotgun right now. It charged all the way to 100 in one shot. But we still want some galvanized stacks to get those condition overload for guns activated. So we're going to get like 1 or 2 kills here. And then I'm going to show you what's happening here. The reason we're using Zata's Whisper is because since it's condition overload for guns, we actually want to have as many procs on them as possible. So that's pretty much the idea of what I'm talking about here, guys. Once everything's stacked up, look how fast I'm going to do it when I actually am not explaining every step of it, okay? Now that we've got galvanized stacks, we're all multi-shotted up. I'm just going to release it. All right, and there you go. So the bouncing of the Cedo glaive is a little bit weird and inconsistent sometimes, so keep that in mind when you're trying to potentially mod for this. But yeah, this is a very customizable build. We're running multi-augmented, so technically would get stronger if we're doing like an endurance run. So we have more power strength. But yeah, it's just a little for fun thing right here. Of course, you don't need to use the Cedo shotgun. The reason the Cedo is so good is because for the way this ability works, only works for 1 bullet. But the Cedo's glaive launcher is literally only 1 bullet. So that's why it's good. Now, as far as other weapons you could rock with this, you could definitely rock like the Tonkor, like every other shot in the Tonkor, make it like red crit pretty much, could be pretty cool. The Sporothrix, which is a 1% crit sniper rifle that has really high slash damage and high crit damage, you could do that. It wouldn't be good on like the Kuva Nuker because it's only 1 instance of damage that does get this additive crit. So it would be like 1 tick of your Kuva Nuker like doing a big number, and the rest of them would be like normal, which, you know, maybe you think that's good enough, but for me that's not really good enough. So yeah, her 1 was definitely massively buffed. I think going forward, as far as subsume builds on Mesa, I'm either going to subsume off her 3 or maybe even her 4, depending on what I'm doing. I know subsuming off the 4 on Mesa is blasphemous, and I'm not going to do it normally, but yeah, I'm thinking definitely her 3. Damage reduction really falls off at high levels. You know, it's okay for most levels, but at super high levels, maybe it's worth taking off. And at the same time, her Peacemaker is kind of like something you have to focus a lot on, so I wouldn't really use it on the Zata's Whisper Cedo build. But yeah, as far as like, you know, other things, I did show briefly how the Furax Wraith does, or the Amalgam Furax does buff her Peacemakers. I'd say that a dispensary build is definitely better for everyday play, especially if you're down, like if you are able to spam abilities. I'm not sure how this works on controller. If you can spam her 1 on controller or like whatever input method, you can permanently shield gate. That's gonna be basically, and then you can also use rolling guard within Mesa's wall to get rid of slash procs. So pretty good. Now, if you're trying this build out and the CEDO's not working, you're probably not actually activating the button. Like I said earlier, you need to activate the ability after it's fully charged. Then your shot is ready. Okay, that's why it might be like, oh, why is my CEDO not working? Because when the CEDO does not have that charge, you're not seeing as many crits at all. Because we said 2% crit chance on this thing. We're jamming it up with this on the Zata's Whisper build. I'm not even going for full power, honestly. Like, this is honestly pretty normal power strength numbers. We have 114 increased additive crit chance. So whatever weapon you want to see a big disgusting crit with, just use that with MESA now. And you can, let me just, since we're talking about, I'm just going to equip the Town Core right now. Let's see. Actually, no, I got a better idea. How about the Corinth Prime's Alt Fire? One of the highest base damage weapons in the game is the Corinth Prime's Alt Fire. And would you look at that, another weapon with basically no crit. We got 4% crit on this thing. And I lucked out with a crit damage and multi-shot ribbon. Let's see how this goes. I'm assuming this will be just completely disgusting. I actually have not tested this, so I have a feeling this will be complete filth. So let's see. Activate our Zata's Whisper, activate our Ballistic Bullseye. And by the way, Zata's Whisper is not necessary for this. You could just use Roar or Eclipse if you really wanted to. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to activate it. Not too bad. I mean, I think it's a little bit less extreme than the CEDO, but that was, basically a one-shot on all of them. Do it again with some Galvanized stacks. And that's a 4% crit weapon getting Hunter Munitions procs, it seems like. So, if you think this is cool and worth the effort, go for it. I don't know if I'd say it's worth the effort, but it is a fun little new playstyle for MESA, making her basically a weapon buffer. And, she can buff her pistols. Like I said earlier, you're probably going to be spamming it for shield getting if you're getting constantly shot at, but that 77% increased crit chance with our build will work on her pistols, and the pistol build I currently have has 71, so that's that's almost guaranteed orange crit right there, which will, double apply your crit damage mods and all that. So it's up to you guys. Okay, here's the thing though. I've been testing out a good amount of weapons with this. There's certain weapons that don't work the way you'd want to, specifically the Zymos. You'd think, oh man, the Zymos will be nasty with this additive 100% crit. It doesn't work on the bees for some reason. It only works on the actual primary shot. So there's certain things I've been trying out that haven't worked out as good. But overall, I think it's pretty awesome, and it's something you should maybe try out in the future if you're bored. If you're not bored, it ain't gonna be replacing your normal MESA build most likely. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Hopefully you found it helpful and fun. I'm going to have videos coming out every single day. There you go. There's non-crits right there on the bees, so I don't know what's going on there. I'll see you next time. Appreciate all the support, and take it easy. One more thing. If you have any weapons that you think would be good on this, let me know down below. Keep in mind that melees do not work. All right, guys. Take it easy. Peace.